Back to square one in the city of Atlanta, which announced just moments ago it is preparing to shut back down due to the surge in coronavirus cases there. They are returning to phase one of reopening, which means residents must stay home except for essential trips. Only essential businesses and city services can operate. Now, this is the biggest move yet by a major city in the opposite direction here of progress. It comes as the president grows more and more detached from reality on this and detached from his top medical expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci. Here's President Trump just hours ago. He was speaking in the state of Florida. He was actually there for a fundraiser and an event on drugs. But it happens to be the place where coronavirus cases are growing faster than any country on earth, up 1,237% since May 1st.
In the United States, at least before the COVID came to us, the flu, the virus, the China virus, whatever you'd like to call it. It's got many different names.
Now at 11, the gloves are off. Atlanta's mayor and the governor once again going head-to-head over their plans to fight COVID-19. Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms ordered the city back to phase one, recommending another shutdown. Well, the governor's office is now pushing back really hard, calling the mayor's move confusing guidance that she cannot legally enforce.
This all comes as the state shattered a new record in COVID-19 cases today, Ron. Just check out this chart showing the steep rise in infections. The state reported nearly 4,500 confirmed cases. We're going to dig into the numbers in just a little bit to give you more perspective on that. But first, we want to take a look at the mayor's new order, leaving businesses and restaurants wondering, what do they do now? John Sherrick is at the state capitol tonight with the story.
Another tug of war between Georgia's governor and Atlanta's mayor over what to do about the record-breaking surge in COVID-19 cases. Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms late Friday ordered Atlanta to revert to phase one. She wants to shut down the city again, including no more indoor dining at restaurants. But her order is a set of guidelines, not requirements. Governor Brian Kemp blasted the mayor, saying the mayor should instead enforce his detailed executive order on reopening the state safely. Public health experts like Dr. Harry Hyman of Georgia State University say the spike in cases proves the state needs to pause its reopening plan. Dial it back.
Based on what we know about the way this virus works, where it spreads and where it spreads the most, we know it's in indoor places. Does that mean everything needs to shut down? No, but it absolutely means that we need to close down bars and nightclubs. We need to temporarily shut down inside dining, and we need to absolutely make masks mandatory.
And the debate goes on. Governor Kemp's office did not respond to my request for comment about whether he might reconsider parts of his reopening plan in light of the increasing cases.
It is a shot of the morning. An Ohio man paints his entire lawn into a Trump 2020 banner. J.R. Majewski coloring his yard blue with a sign reading, Trump 2020, keep America great. Wow.
Majewski, who served in Afghanistan, says he wants to show his appreciation for President Trump's support for the military. The veteran says he used about 120 gallons of biodegradable paint, and you can certainly see it from the sky. I wonder if they can see it from space. That is quite a big Trump lawn.
Impressive, sir. Let's get reaction to that from Corey Lewandowski, Trump 2020 senior advisor. Corey, we've seen stuff like this for the president. Have you spotted any Joe Biden signs painted in anyone's lawn or on the side of their house?
Only in people's basements, Pete. That's the only place that paint signs. Nobody's seeing them. Look, the enthusiasm for President Trump is as high today as it was in 2016. And we saw this across the country where people were literally cutting their fields to say Trump 2016 or Trump 2020. People like this who go out and do it to show their support for the president. Most of the time, the left vilifies these people, but the American people stand with President Trump.
Corey, the president is reacting to Biden laying out his economic plan earlier this week, and there's a whole lot perhaps in it that isn't similar to what the president's done. But of course, that Buy American stuff, the president calling it out. Take a listen.
He plagiarized from me, but he can never pull it off. He likes plagiarizing. It's a plan that is very radical left, but he said the right things because he's copying what I've done. But the difference is he can't do it, and he knows he's not doing that. It can't be the same because he's raising taxes way too much. He's raising everybody's taxes. He's also putting tremendous...
As we inch closer to September, parents, principals, and politicians are weighing options for America's students. Debates abound over whether students should continue to learn remotely or return to school wearing masks and social distancing. Rather than facilitating or leading the complex discussion, Donald Trump has complicated it further by again ignoring warnings from public health officials and pushing for schools to reopen, mostly, it seems, because that would allow their parents to return to work and help his flagging re-election prospects. Trump's education secretary, Betsy DeVos, has even threatened to withhold funding for schools that don't offer in-person classes, regardless, it seems, of what the health outcomes may be of doing so. The education of the youngest in our society is the best answer to our future, and decisions about it cannot continue to be made for political reasons. America has used public education as a political football, punishing certain communities while rewarding others. Budgets have been brutally slashed. Teachers, tasked with shaping the minds of our children, have often seen their wages adjusted for inflation shrink. So let's consider not returning to normal, and let's take this opportunity to think about public education differently. Coronavirus has highlighted deep inequality within America's myriad public education systems. Our children face massive achievement gaps based on where they live and where they were born, and in many cases, based on the color of their skin. The spring school term highlighted how challenging educating our kids actually is. And yet in so many parts of the country, we continue to underfund public schools. Teachers often dip into their own pockets to pay for supplies. Schools are now called upon not only to provide education, but daycare, before and after school, guidance, mental health evaluations, sexual abuse awareness, substance abuse prevention, protection from school shooters, and meals for students from impoverished families. Maybe our priority should be fixing that. Of course, our children need education and normalcy, and parents need to be able to return to work. Ultimately, our students need to return to school, and the sooner they can do so safely, the better. But what a great time to solve some of the problems we've chosen just not to solve for so long. So as the debate rages about whether they should go back, now is the time to consider what we are all working so hard to get them back to.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.
Good evening. I'm Jamie Yuccas in Los Angeles. For the 7th time in just 11 days, the U.S. set a new single-day record for coronavirus infections. There were at least 68,000 new cases on Friday. More than 3.2 million people in the country have been infected. The death toll now topping 134,000. At least 6 states reported single-day records for new infections. Some hospitals are facing a crush of patients. Rules and restrictions are being adjusted just about everywhere now. Adding to the misery, a massive heat dome covering much of the country. Breaking records today in several cities, including Tucson and New Orleans. Danya Bacchus begins our coverage.
With hospitalizations on the rise here in Los Angeles, the mayor is asking people to avoid the urge to beat the heat by having pool parties and gathering with friends. The message is similar from leaders across the country, with many fearing the worst is yet to come.
For the health and safety of everyone.
Today, a magical milestone for many. 2 parks at Disney World in Orlando reopened to the public. They'd been shut down for months. Visitors must wear masks and social distance. This comes as Florida shatters virus records, reporting more than 10,000 cases on Friday. Arizona is one of the nation's biggest hotspots, with 90% of ICU beds at capacity.
I didn't really care much about COVID. I mean, it was a joke to us.
Jimmy Flores admits he didn't take the virus seriously until he was infected.
It became real to me. I was the first person I knew that got it.
Kristen Urquiza's 65-year-old father died